Today's podcast is a little bit special. We've got Paige Hogle. She's my wife. And so if I mess this up and I never have another podcast, you guys will know why. So let's get casted. So you've been running intake. So for starters, for everybody out there, what is intake?
Intake is the first voice you hear when you call our firm.
Okay.
If you're a new client.
Okay.
If you need help with a case. And intake will be the first voice you hear, the first person you tell your story to.
Okay. So I have an issue with my neighbors, and I want to talk to a law firm. You or your staff would be the ones answering that phone. That's called intake?
Right, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And usually do most people tell you what they're going through, what they need help with?
Yeah, usually they, hello, and they say, I need help. I need help is usually the first line we hear.
Okay.
I need help with something, or I need something, or I have something going on and I need some help.
So how do you view your importance in the list of things? Because this individual typically is calling and they're a little bit distressed. So you've probably got some war stories for us that we'll probably get into a little bit later. But, what importance do you put on that? I mean, how important is that?
I think it's one of the most important jobs. I don't know if it's one of the, but it's important. It's the first voice they hear.
Yeah.
The first person that hears them. The cases we deal with here are highly upsetting to them normally, and they don't know where to turn, and so they hear our voices first. It's important.
So highly upsetting is interesting. I'd say, would you kind of go with emotionally charged?
Yeah, that's a better one. That's a better.
Okay, so most of the time when you have somebody that's going through a back and forth or a fight with their spouse over the children or whatever, they're pretty fired up. Or somebody just gets, jackhammered in traffic and can't go to work, and they're panicked. They're a little bit on the panic side.
Yeah.
Or they're accused, and a loved one's been arrested, or they're accused of,
And
and
they're shocked. Or we usually hear shock in that kind of a detached shock.
Yeah. Okay. So how hard was this to get used to?
I didn't expect, for me personally, that was extremely difficult to get used to. I basically cried every day or often at least, in the break room or in the coffee room.
Well, what would bring that on? I mean, why the emotional response on your end?
Probably what I was going through personally, which brought me here. Are we getting into that or no? No, okay. Mainly the pain people were feeling. Is that what you're asking?
Mm-hmm.
The pain that they were going through, and kind of the hard thing I knew, that they were going to start or were already headlong into, or, we're not talking about like little accidents. Those are just at best,
Those wouldn't put you in the
No.
corner, because those people
they're just
were
annoyed.
responding
Yeah.
not quite as impactful.
Yeah, they just want to get a job done.
Right.
That's more business, but sometimes some of these people.
Yeah, we'll talk about how you became intake manager and kind of the head honcho of that scenario there. Another pod. But we're going to talk about just the raw bricks and sticks of intake right now.
Yeah.
So you call in, sometimes your emotions would be impacted.
Yeah.
And you'd be crying on the break room.
Yeah, there was so many, and there was cases there's stories I'd never even heard of that that happened to people, and the things that it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
for me.
I think that you said once, way back when, I think that you said that you'd only seen these things on TV. You didn't know that they were real.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And it's way uglier in real life
Much worse.
than you could have ever figured on the television there.
Yeah.
You came to me from time to time, way back when, pretty shaken up. What helped in that regard? What helped you deal a little bit more with these folks as far as still providing a good listening ear and making sure that they feel like they can approach you with just about anything and you can get them to the right set of hands for the help that they need?
Well, somehow I was able to hold it together with them on the phone. I was able to be professional, and I did have a professional mindset when I was speaking with them, but also a mindset as if it was me on the other end of the line, or my mom, or my something. But I'd have that mindset so that I was able to get through that. It would be later I'd kind of feel it, like after, or kind of think.
So is that how
I was
you
telling you about it, or telling
right?
Becky, or
Well, it was you just once upon a time, and now you've got a handful of
I have the best women instead of a group of women.
So now you're teaching Summer, now you're teaching Annie, now you're teaching Ann, now you're teaching whomever that might be, or Jesse, whoever may be touching the telephone to personalize this this experience.
Yeah, in fact, for one of my staff members, it was cathartic because she was going through something very public and very very hard. So to hear that other people that she was able to help other people through maybe not even similar things, but hard things for them, was helpful for her. It was like therapy.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, where others are more educated. They're becoming educated about the world that way, and the law that way, the court system that way, through this process.
Well, what I find to be interesting, and I always have found this to be interesting, long before our next podcast themes come up, because she might be a regular. She's going to be good. She's going to be good. She doesn't only look good. I'm just saying. She's going to be good. I'm allowed to say that. She's my wife.
He has to say that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm allowed to say it. I just high five other dudes that say it because they have good taste. Let's carry on. My point is no, this is remarkable what I'm about to say, is they spend literally anywhere between, 5 and 15 minutes with you.
Sometimes more.
Sometimes a little bit more, but that's a rarity. But usually a fairly brief period of time. And I have heard more about our intake, you specifically, but the other ones too.
The others,
I mean, I've heard more about them when their case is done. And, oh, hey, by the way, say thanks to Paige.
Really?
Well, yeah, really. Somebody reached out to you on your phone with an additional problem 5, 6, 7 years later.
That's our job, is to become their host, the hostess, or the lifeline for any legal problem they have, hopefully. In there.
At the Arizona firm, this is why we drilled down on this type of service, because nobody's above anybody in this world, and hurt people hurt people, right? And we're in there, and we're trying to get them to where they're possibly not hurt. And so you felt a burden on your shoulders to get these folks into the right hands.
Yes, well, it's important. Yeah, everyone deserves, no matter what, someone on their side. And often they come here feeling inhuman, or feeling less.
Judged. Or
judged, and like no one understands what they're going through, or they couldn't possibly talk about it, or, but here we see them as hurt people.
And sometimes there's somebody that just needs a little lift.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that about intake. My favorite part about intake is that there's nobody fighting with each other. It's kind of interesting. You get the phones are ringing here and there, and everybody's just kind of like this helpful, like, oh, I got you, and it's like a really cool culture you've created.
Oh, thank you. I don't know if I've created that or just the right people come. And the,
Probably a mixture of it all.
but no, there's no competition. It's a team. We have a job higher, a purpose higher than our self.
So, yeah, no, I'm specifically proud of the intake and the human touch that it has. And so somebody is very important to us immediately. And that is literally in intake, right?
Yeah.
It's that
Yeah.
first impression. And I like that intake pipes up in our meetings and says, we're really grateful for XYZ that's happening in family law, or ABC that's happening in injury law, or LMNOP that's happening in criminal law, because you guys feel like almost free to hand them to a specific attorney, because you're just excited about the product.
That we can speak for them. I feel proud to speak of and excited that I can help. I can feel good about taking someone, putting them in our hands here, and know personally how that, what will happen, and feel like I can back that up and mean it when I say it, and it comes off powerfully to them, because it's not a sales, it's a lifeline, and I know it, and I know how it works behind the scenes.
So you felt that lifeline before, and
Yes.
you like to extend that
Yes.
lifeline. How cool is that? I just love the
Yeah.
intake at the Arizona firm, so I just thought we'd bring her on to introduce a little bit of that intake team flavor.
It was just me, but slowly added more. And
Yeah, we had to add some, and it was hard to find some that were kind of the same cloth, but you seem to have a good picker
they
there.
come to us. They come to us.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Well, we'll be getting into your story a little bit more in other pods to come, because you've got a heck of a story, so it's going to be fun.